IVM.
There's a quick survey to fill out on ivmpodcast.com/survey. It lets us know a little bit more about who's listening to us. And you know what? We're going to do a few prizes. So, we'll do a random drawing of maybe 10 people and we'll send you all some swag. Remember, that's ivmpodcast.com/survey where you can fill out the survey.
Hello and welcome to the Habit Coach Podcast, the bite-sized podcast filled with quick and easy actionable habits. Remember, great habits create that awesome life. I am Ashdin Doctor, your habit coach. And today's fun fact of the day has to do with Star Trek. Did you know that the first interracial kiss on American television took place on Star Trek? And this was between Captain Kirk and Uhura. It was originally going to be between Spock and Uhura, but William Shatner jumped in when he realized that he would be making history. Now, if you're not familiar with Star Trek, it is a cult super hit TV show where the crew of the Starship Enterprise are on a mission to travel to the edges of the known universe and discover new worlds. And the famous opening lines of the show are what I want to share with you today. It goes something like this: Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the Starship Enterprise. Its 5-year mission to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life and new civilizations, to boldly go where no man has gone before. The word boldly is what stood out for me. It is such a strong and powerful word. As a child, I must have said these opening lines 1,000 times while watching the show, but it is only now that I realize just how powerful the word boldly is. There's a sense of heft to it. There's a sense of class, a sense of overcoming fear, standing up to your beliefs for what is right and just in the world. The dictionary defines bold as a for person, action or idea, showing a willingness to take risks, confident and courageous. So this got me thinking, can we make being bold a habit so that eventually it becomes a part of our personality, a part of who we are? For many of us, being confident is just a dream. We are filled with self-doubt. We visualize and picture the worst of ourselves. We do not have that confidence in our abilities to do things. And as a result, we don't do things. We pass on the opportunities life gives us. We squander away the riches that could have been ours. The next word in describing bold is courage. Courage is simply the ability to control fear in uncomfortable or dangerous situations. In our lives, we hardly have any dangerous situations, but we do have a lot of uncomfortable situations. And we have been frightened of being uncomfortable. We get offended too easily. We give up too easily. And we've lost the ability to do uncomfortable things. Now, imagine our lives and how they would be different if only we could be more confident and more courageous. In other words, if we could be more bold. A couple of weeks ago, I was invited to be on a prime time TV show on a news channel to discuss financial habits. Now, for most of us, like me, who've never been on primetime TV, it's scary in itself. However, the real kicker here was that the whole interview would be in Hindi. Now, to put things in perspective, when I studied Hindi, I failed almost every single exam. My elocution skills were non-existent. So when I was offered to be invited in Hindi onto a Hindi channel, what did I do? I said yes. Before my brain had the ability to process the fear, I said yes. I was scared for sure, nervous for sure, being on a very popular news channel in Hindi. However, I remember the word bold. And this was me practicing my habit of being bold. I was not confident in my Hindi skills, but I was confident in my communication skills. I knew I could get my point across even though the grammar will be all over the place. Past tenses becoming future tenses, genders changing left, right, and center. But the important thing was I could communicate. And the courage came from knowing that there was no real danger here. It would definitely be uncomfortable, but there was nothing that was life-threatening. So when the day and time came, I shared the financial habits that I thought would help the most number of people. I focused on helping others and not on how others would see me. And the interview went off very well. The anchor Kavita did a fantastic job of jumping in and helping whenever I needed it. And you can watch it on YouTube by just searching for Ashdin Doctor ET now, and you will find this particular episode. So your super simple habit starts by observing the times and events in your life that required you to be bold. It could be standing up to someone. It could be getting out of a toxic relationship. It could be taking a new job. Start small and work on becoming bolder and bolder, fearless, confident, and courageous. And just like the journey of the Starship Enterprise, boldly go where no one has gone before. And yes, for all you Star Trek geeks out there, I boldly changed that last line. Usually in a podcast, it's me who speaks to you and you who listens. But I've been seeing your comments, and it's time. It's me listening to you. Following the overwhelming success of this podcast, the good folks at IVM Podcast Network have decided to come up with a Kannada adaptation of the show for those who prefer listening to it in that language. Do make sure you let your Kannada speaking friends know about this as well. Now, if you like this podcast, don't forget to check out other interesting podcasts on the IVM network. You can listen to us on the IVM Podcast app or ivmpodcast.com. You can also follow us on social media. We are at IVM Podcast on Twitter and Instagram. If you want to reach out to me, I am at Ashdin Doc on Twitter and Instagram. We have a brand new habit coaching online course, quizzes, videos, and a lot more on the website awesome180.com. So check it out now.
Hey, it's been another great week on the IVM Podcast Network. On The Habit Coach, Ashdin talks to Avantika Sinha, managing partner, leadership trainer, and coach at Stillwater Consulting. She shares 5 key mindsets that we all must imbibe in ourselves. The Simplified Gang look into the European Union's recent regulations to rein in tech companies. On the Filter Coffee podcast, Karthik speaks with author Vasanthi about her new book, Ganga's Choice. On the Life Manifesto, Zarina decodes 7 overrated concepts that we must do away with. And on Football Twaddle, Saru and Yash discuss how Arsenal always disappoints in the season. Do follow us on social media. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And remember, if you're enjoying this show or any of our other shows for that matter, please do tell a friend. Also, please don't forget to rate us on any of the platforms you're listening to us on. And remember, you can always check us out on YouTube. We have a number of channels. You can go to ivmpodcast.com/YouTube to take a look at what those channels are. We're also doing a small listener survey to understand how you respond to our shows and the advertising on the network. We would really appreciate it if you could spare a few minutes to fill it out. It really helps us build better shows for you and understand what you're looking for from advertising and what we can talk to advertisers about who you are. Please go to ivmpodcast.com/survey. It really would help us out. Thank you so much. And finally, would like to thank our sponsors for the network this week, SBI Life Insurance, India Water Portal, and Jupiter, a digital banking app. Thank you so much for making this possible.
Have you ever wondered where the business world is headed? How the ways in which we create, market, and sell to consumers will evolve? Or if we'll ever go back to wearing pants while working? For answers to all of this and more, tune into Advertising is Dead with me, Varun Dugirala. Every Tuesday, as I talk to entrepreneurs, leaders, and change makers from across business, media, marketing, and beyond. You can catch all episodes of Advertising is Dead on the IVM Podcast website, app, or wherever you get your podcasts from.